Have you ever felt like your body stopped responding to the tactics that always worked in the past? It's one of the biggest frustrations I hear in my office. People will cross the 60-year mark and realize that no matter how much they try to eat less or increase their walks, the scale seems locked with a steel padlock. Or worse, you may even lose a few pounds, but your face looks tired, your energy disappears, and that little belly remains there untouched. The truth that the diet industry doesn't tell you is that the rules of the game have changed. What worked at 30 or 40 years old can become real poison for your metabolism after 60. At this stage of life, your body has entered a maximum preservation mode. For your biology, severe calorie restriction is not interpreted as a signal to burn fat, but as a direct threat to your survival. When you eat too little, your body understands that there's a shortage of resources, and instead of eliminating energy stores, it decides to sacrifice what is most expensive for it to maintain: your muscles. Today, I'm going to show you why common diets fail and how you can reprogram your system to regain vitality without starving yourself. Hello, I'm Dr. Harrison Blake. I'm a medical specialist, and in 15 years of clinical practice, I have seen thousands of patients over 60 regain their shape once they understood that maturity requires strategy, not deprivation. If you want to stop fighting your own biology, you're in the right place. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. I want to lose weight in a healthy way. Many people arrive at my office saying, "Doctor, I eat exactly the same things I ate 10 years ago, but now I gain weight just by looking at my plate." In 15 years of medicine, I explained that this is not a defect in your body. It's a change in programming. After 60, there's a natural decline in your basal metabolic rate, which is the amount of energy your body spends just to keep your heart beating, your lungs breathing, and your brain functioning while you are at rest. It's as if your internal computer has switched to battery-saving mode. Why does this happen? As the decades pass, the human body becomes extremely efficient at conserving energy. What was once a powerful engine that burned fuel easily is now an engine optimized for preservation. Your body prioritizes the functioning of vital organs and drastically reduces the energy available for what it considers non-essential, such as maintaining large muscle mass or rapidly burning fat. For the biology of maturity, stored fat is seen as life insurance, a strategic reserve to face potential illness or periods of weakness. The big mistake of common diets is ignoring this new reality. When you try to impose severe calorie restriction on a metabolism that is already in conservation mode, the body reacts defensively. It understands that the battery is running low and that the supply of external energy has decreased. Instead of burning belly fat, it slows your metabolism even further. That's why you feel colder, more tired, your digestion slows down, and your hair may start to fall out. Your body is turning off the lights in the house to save energy, while keeping the fat vault locked with 7 keys. In addition, after 60, the efficiency of your mitochondria, the small energy plants inside your cells, decreases. They can no longer process sugar and fat as quickly as before. If you provide very little food, but food of poor nutritional quality, you overload these already tired energy plants. The result is a metabolism that lacks the strength to burn stored energy and lacks the nutrients to maintain vitality. Understanding that your metabolism now operates under survival logic is the first step towards stopping the fight with the mirror. Your body is not betraying you. It is trying to protect you in the way it knows best. Our challenge is not to force the engine to run without fuel through hunger, but to provide the correct hormonal and nutritional signals that the battery is charged so it can finally leave energy-saving mode and begin using fat reserves intelligently. The greatest crime a typical diet commits against someone over 60 is focusing exclusively on the total number on the scale. When you enter a severe restrictive regimen, that famous just eat a small salad with a tiny piece of grilled meat, your body, already in battery-saving mode, receives a red alert signal. Since it needs immediate energy to keep your organs functioning and you are not providing enough, it makes a drastic decision. It begins to cannibalize your own muscles. This medical process has a feared name: sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is a progressive loss of muscle mass and strength that accelerates dramatically after age 60. The problem is that muscle is not just what helps us carry groceries or climb stairs. Muscle is the largest metabolic organ in your body. Muscle tissue burns most of the calories you consume, even while you sleep. When you follow the wrong diet and lose muscle, you're literally throwing away the engine that burns your fat. That is why so many people over 60 enter the yo-yo cycle. They lose 5 pounds with 3 pounds of muscle. Metabolism crashes because the engine shrinks, and soon afterward they gain 7 pounds of fat because the body now burns less energy than before. In 15 years of clinical practice, I have seen this cycle destroy functional health in older adults. When you lose muscle to lose weight, you increase your risk of falls, reduce bone density, and make your metabolism increasingly resistant. That belly fat you wanted to eliminate becomes even more stubborn because there is no longer enough muscle tissue to absorb the sugar circulating in your blood. Muscle works like a glucose sponge. Without it, all the sugar you eat goes straight into visceral fat storage, inflaming your organs. Many diets designed for younger people suggest drastic protein cuts or prolonged fasting without supervision. For someone in their 20s, the body recovers muscle mass easily. For you, after 60, every gram of muscle loss becomes a huge battle to regain. Loss of lean mass is what gives it appearance of sudden aging. The face droops, the arms lose tone, and weakness begins to set in. Healthy weight loss and maturity should be measured by the measuring tape and by physical strength, never just by body weight. If your diet makes you weaker, it is aging you, not helping you lose weight. The secret I teach my patients is this: never allow your body to feel like it needs to eat its own muscles to survive. We must protect your lean mass as if it were your most valuable treasure. Because in the end, muscle is what preserves your independence, your posture, and most importantly, your youthful metabolism. If you want to eliminate fat, you must first ensure that your army of muscles is well fed and active. Without them, the number on the scale may drop, but your health and metabolism will be sliding downhill. One of the most important concepts I teach in the office for people over 60 is anabolic resistance. Imagine that your muscle cells have doors that must open to allow protein to enter and build muscle or repair tissues. When you are young, those doors are extremely sensitive. A small stimulus or a light meal is enough to open them wide. However, as the decades pass, those doors begin to become rusty. This means that the same amount of protein that maintained your muscles at May 30th not even be enough to prevent muscle loss at 60. Your body has become resistant to the building signal. Why does this happen? In addition to natural hormonal decline, low-grade inflammation, which often accompanies aging, acts like glue in those cellular locks. If you follow a typical diet that suggests small portions of protein spread throughout the day, you never reach what we call the leucine threshold. Leucine is a specific amino acid that acts as a master key to turn on the engine of protein synthesis. If you eat a little protein at breakfast, a little at lunch, and a little at dinner, you never reach the necessary blood concentration to unlock anabolic resistance. The result? Your body ignores the protein you ate and continues breaking down muscle for energy. Many trendy diets focus on overall calorie restriction, but ignore the quality and distribution of protein. For those over 60, eating less can backfire. That small amount is not dense in building nutrients. If your insulin is constantly high, which is very common at this stage due to refined carbohydrates or stress, anabolic resistance becomes dramatically worse. High insulin signals the body to store fat while blocking the signal to build muscle. It's the worst of both worlds. You gain belly fat and lose muscle tone at the same time, even while eating less. In 15 years of clinical practice, I realized the solution is not to eat more food, but to be more strategic with protein density. We need larger doses of protein in fewer meals to ensure that the building signal is loud enough for your cells to hear. Without overcoming anabolic resistance, any weight loss diet will result in flaccidity and weakness. You may see the number on the scale go down, but what is disappearing is your structure, your strength, and your ability to burn fat in the future. Additionally, the lack of proper mechanical stimulus worsens this resistance. If you do not signal to your muscles that they are needed, the body, which is a master of efficiency, simply discards them. Anabolic resistance is a shutdown mechanism that we must actively combat every day through proper nutrition and strategic movement. Understanding that your body now requires a stronger signal volume to function is what separates those who age with vitality from those who age with fragility. It's not about eating less. It's about signaling better. Often, a patient arrives in my office with a double complaint. Doctor, I can't lose this belly, and on top of that, my joints hurt all the time, and I feel fatigue that never goes away. What most common diets ignore is that after 60, accumulated fat, especially visceral fat, is not just dead weight. It functions as an inflamed gland that releases substances called pro-inflammatory cytokines into your bloodstream. Medicine calls this low-grade inflammation. It's as if you have a small fire burning inside your body 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This inflammatory state is one of the greatest metabolic blockers that exist. When your body is inflamed, it enters defense mode and prioritizes survival rather than fat burning. Inflammation interferes with leptin signaling, the hormone that should tell your brain that you are full and can start burning energy. With this communication disrupted, your brain believes you are starving, which increases your anxiety for food and reduces your willingness to move. In addition, this inflammation rusts your mitochondria, the energy plants we mentioned earlier, making fat burning a slow and painful process for your cells. The big mistake of conventional diets is focusing only on calories, while ignoring the inflammatory potential of foods. Many diet, light, or fit products are full of additives, artificial sweeteners, and refined vegetable oils that damage your intestinal microbiota. After 60, your intestinal barrier becomes more permeable. If you consume inflammatory foods, these toxins enter your circulation, worsening joint pain, morning stiffness, and fluid retention. You step on the scale and see the number rise, but half of that is swelling caused by inflammation. That's why eating less while consuming crackers or processed cereal bars will never work for you. In 15 years of clinical practice, I've seen that weight loss after 60 only truly happens when we clean the ground. If you try to force weight loss in an inflamed body, the result is frustration and pain. Knee pain, lower back pain, and hip discomfort are often not just because of age, but the result of systemic inflammation produced by visceral fat. When you adjust your diet to an anti-inflammatory strategy, something remarkable happens. The pain decreases, sleep improves, and suddenly your body begins to release that fat that once seemed impossible to lose. The strategy here is not to eat less, but to eat better in order to extinguish this fire. We need to remove inflammatory triggers and focus on nutrients that calm the immune system. Without solving silent inflammation, you will always be swimming against the current. In maturity, losing weight is synonymous with reducing inflammation. When the fire goes out, your metabolism finally has biological permission to use fat reserves as fuel, restoring the lightness you felt years ago. The first and most important pillar of our protocol is reversing the logic of restriction. Stop focusing on what you should remove and start focusing on what you should add. After 60, your body needs nutritional density, not just empty calories. This means your absolute priority at every meal should be high-quality protein. Remember the anabolic resistance we discussed? To overcome it, you need larger portions of protein, such as eggs, fish, lean meats, or whey protein, concentrated in fewer meals. This ensures the signal to preserve your muscles is strong enough to be heard by your cells. The second pillar is choosing intelligent fats. Many diets remove all fat to cut calories, but in maturity, this is a fatal mistake for your hormonal system and brain health. Extra virgin olive oil, avocados, and nuts provide the foundation for hormone production and help lower the inflammation we discussed earlier. These healthy fats provide real satiety, sending a signal to your brain that there is abundance, which allows your metabolism to exit battery-saving mode and begin releasing visceral fat. The third pillar, and perhaps the most neglected, is resistance training. In 15 years of practice, I have seen that walking is excellent for the heart, but what truly burns belly fat after 60 is muscle. You must signal to your body, through weights, resistance bands, or bodyweight exercises, that your muscles are needed. When you perform strength exercises, you clean insulin receptors and open the doors for blood sugar to enter the muscle instead of turning into abdominal fat. Strength training is literally the best anti-aging medicine and the most powerful metabolic accelerator for this stage of life. In addition, we cannot forget strategic hydration. As we age, the thirst center in the brain becomes less sensitive. Often, you feel hungry when your body is simply dehydrated. Drinking water consistently and ensuring the intake of minerals like magnesium helps intestinal function and cellular fat burning. Constipation is a major enemy of weight loss and maturity because it keeps toxins circulating in your blood and increases inflammation. This protocol is not about starving. It is about giving your body the security that it is well nourished and strong enough to release its reserves. When you prioritize protein, healthy fats, and strength exercise, you're not just losing weight. You are reclaiming your autonomy and vitality. You are teaching your metabolism that the crisis is over and that it can finally return to operating at full power. We have reached the end of this journey, and the main lesson I want you to take with you is this. After 60, losing weight is not about how much hunger you can endure, but about how intelligently you can work with your body. The biology of maturity no longer tolerates restrictive diets that attack the metabolism. It demands respect, nutritional density, and the correct stimuli to keep your structure strong. Forget the scale as the only judge of your health. Focus on your strength, your energy when you wake up, and how your clothes fit. When you nourish your muscles and calm inflammation, weight becomes simply a natural consequence of a body that has rediscovered balance. Maturity should be celebrated with vitality, not deprivation. I am Dr. Harrison Blake. If this video brought you to clarity you needed to stop fighting your age and start working with it, share it with your friends. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. I choose vitality. See you at the next level of health. See you in the next video.